Good morning to all of you. So today we are starting with our next chapter of ancient history with respect to the Deccan area. Okay, now up till now we have seen the post-Mauryan phase, we have seen up till the post-Gupta phase, but we are yet to do with the contemporary powers that were present in the Indian subcontinent. Now, we have seen the contemporary powers which were present at the northwestern frontiers, which were present in the northern region of Indian subcontinent. But here we are left with some of the contemporary powers which are in the central in subcontinent of India. Okay, so we have seen that how Indo-Greeks invaded India, especially after the Mauryan period. Okay, after the Mauryan period, we had also seen that there were Shakas and Kanvas ruling over the Magad. Okay, so we have seen the in detail story about the Magad city, how it evolved. Okay, so this story not only starts over here. Now, Magad was a region, one of a more evolved, one of the more civilized region after the Vedic period through the Mahajanapadas. Okay, but there were also some of the Mahajanapadas which evolved around the time. Okay, now when we were studying about the pre-Mauryan period, I have told you that there were four Mahajanapadas which evolved as much powerful kingdoms of that particular time. Okay, so here there was one particular Mahajanapadas known as Avasti, which was one of the most powerful region or one of the most powerful kingdom of the Deccan area. Now, Deccan area specifically, we are talking about the Nagpur region or near about the Amravati region. Okay, so this area near about comes in present date, it comes under Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh region. Okay, so here this Avasti region is one of the most powerful region during the Mahajanapadas. Okay, Mahajanapadas. This is one of the Mahajanapada. Now, this Mahajanapada, which belonged from the southern dynasties, came to be more powerful in upcoming future. Now, up till what we have seen the story, it was revolving around here, somewhere here. Of course, we had also talked about some of the contemporary powers, like some of Chera, Chola, Pandya, with respect to the Sangam age. But here we also need to study about the Deccan age. Now, why we need to study about the Deccan age? Because UPSC would be asking many number of questions from this area. Why? Because art and architecture which got evolved from 6 BC to 6 AD was majorly revolving in this area. Okay, now if you see the Mauryan Empire, if you see the Ashoka's major and the minor rock edicts, they are majorly concentrated in the northern region. But when we talk about the Ashokan rock edicts with respect to the minor rock edicts, they are majorly revolving in this region. And in fact, on this Ashokan minor edicts or the major inscriptions, we see that there is an evidence of the Deccan kings. Okay, King Ashoka talks through this inscriptions or through this sculptures, it denotes some of the messages that are put it down by the King Ashoka, that we were expanded, our kingdom was expanded up till this southern region or the southern or the Deccan region, but we couldn't get forward over or beyond this. Okay, why? Because here the kings were not that familiar with the northern, and secondly they were flourishing in their own way. Okay, so here there are some areas which were left to be captured by the Mauryan dynasty or the Mauryan empire. Okay, so here this region would be having specifically its own features. Okay, like what we see, Sangam period also has its own features, like the administration is different, the political beliefs are different, the cultural beliefs are different, the religion system is completely different. So in the similar way, the Deccan region is also completely different. In fact, you can say it is a mixture of the northern from the above and the southern from the below. So here this mixture would be applicable with respect to the polity and administration also. This mixture would be applicable in your art and architecture also, because if you see, whenever you visit in present day, if you plan to visit these sites, architectural sites, or the caves, or the sculptures, inscriptions, or stupas, okay, so you will see that in this region there are many such inscriptions, or the writings, or the archaeological evidences, where you will see that they are talking about the northern people also, and they would be talking about the southern people also, especially the emperors or the kings. Okay, so here many of the stories resides. Secondly, the most important observation is this region, this Deccan region, is also giving an evidence of the religious aspects, especially with respect to the Buddhism, especially with respect to Jainism. Now, if you visit some of the Maharashtrian caves, like for example, if you visit Karle caves, okay, which are nearby Pune area, Junnar caves, or in fact, if you visit the Ajanta Ellora caves of Aurangabad region, same in Maharashtra. Okay, so these are talking about much of this kings, emperors. The sculptures are depicting the daily know-how, how the courts used to be assembling, how the Buddhist monks used to reside in the caves, what they used to preach, how they used to preach, how they used to conduct the assemblies. Everything we come to know through this Ajanta and Ellora caves, especially if you visit the Ajanta cave, cave number 9 and cave number 10. By the way, please note it down, cave number 9 and cave number 10, because see, in the recent years, UPSC is also asking particularly, okay, the factual details about this caves numbers also. Okay, cave number 14 was been asked whether it is Jainist, Buddhist, or Vaishnavist or Shaivite. Okay, so here you should know. Okay, now how to study this? You have to study this through the geography, through the images which are present in your reference material. Now, in today's session, when we are discussing about the Deccan region, we are majorly talking about Satavahanas. Okay, we are majorly talking about the Satavahanas. Now, what do the Satavahana means? Now, by the name itself, you can analyze what are the Satavahanas, or if not, I'll help you to analyze it. Okay, so what are Satavahanas? Satavahanas are nothing but Sat. Sat means 7. Am I right? Sat means 7. And what is Vahanas? Vahanas means vehicles. Were there 7 vehicles during that time? Was the engine engine developed during that time? No, engines were not developed during that time, right? It were the horses. Okay, it were the horses, right? So 7 horses, okay, the chariot run by 7 horses. Okay, so during Satavahanas, now that is why they were being called as Satavahanas. Okay, why? Because they used to use the chariots which had the 7 horses. And from that time, we will come to know that the 7 horses, or the usage of horses, increased during the Satavahana period, or especially during the Post-Mauryan period. Now, this Satavahanas majorly evolved during the 1st century, okay, 1st AD, or before some of the years of 1st AD. But in generally, if you refer to the reference books, reference materials, whether Tamil Nadu, whether NCRT, whether higher reference books, okay, for example, if you refer the Chandra, okay, so here you would get that they are majorly evolving as a greater power during the 1st century only. Okay, before that, yes, of course, there were also a great leaders or the great rulers of the Satavahana dynasty. But Satavahana was at a peak during the first century. Okay, so here the first century was the peak period. After that you will see that again they would be declining, okay, after 200 years. Okay, so this is one point to be noted with respect to the contemporary powers. Now we have studied that the post-Mauryan period, we have seen the Shakas and the Kanvas who ruled over the Magad area or the present day UP and Bihar area. Okay, we have also seen the Western Kshatraps, okay, which were the contemporary of the post-Mauryans, right? Now, similarly, we have also at some of the initial phase talked about the Satavahanas previously. But today, in today's session, we would be having an in-depth study of Satavahana. Why? Because the polity and administration was completely different in the Deccan region. Secondly, the most important and the very specific questions are related to the art and architecture of Satavahanas. Okay, that is why we are studying this topic into more depth as compared to the previous topics. Okay, so here the Satavahana would be having to be evolved or at the peak at during the first century. Before that,